Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the President's Spring Semester State of the University Address. Twice each year, the President provides a status update to the faculty and the general university community on the state of their affairs at the university, and also touching on his vision for the future. Although this year's event is being held via virtual format, we hope that you will still feel engaged and appreciate the opportunity to hear from our president today. With respect to the agenda and format, I'll just give you an overview. We're going to hear shortly from our faculty senate president and trustee, Anne-Marie Cavazos, who will provide greetings and the occasion. And then I'll introduce President Robinson, who will deliver his remarks. And then at the conclusion of that, we'll have an opportunity for the president to address your questions, time permitting. And you'll be able to insert your questions into the Q&A box. We'll try to get to as many of those at the end as we can. And at this point, we'll go ahead and move forward, and we'll hear from Faculty Senate President and Trustee Cavazos.
Greetings, everyone. Good afternoon, faculty, President Robinson, Provost Eddington, leadership team, deans, staff, students, and guests. Welcome to President Robinson's State of the University Address. Our theme this year is Sustained Excellence. And what a better way to begin our new semester than by hearing from our esteemed leader, President Dr. Robinson, and his vision for the future of our great institution. I just want to emphasize 4 points. Number one, I believe sustained excellence is intentional and purposeful because we have to maintain excellence by consistently building our academic programs. Number two, I believe sustained excellence is an ongoing process. It is a willingness to conduct an honest and critical assessment of ourselves first and hold our accomplishments up to the light before outsiders do, to search for a more perfect way to serve our students and our community. Third, I believe sustained excellence focuses on improving the performance of all persons, starting with our administrators to faculty, staff, and students. And fourth, I believe sustained excellence is a collaborative commitment that extends to all members of the university community. Faculty, you are dedicated learners. No matter how much excellence you have achieved, you are always raising the bar. You have achieved this because you are resilient, a common characteristic of sustained excellence. I am so very proud of the resilience demonstrated by our FAMU lead community in navigating through this pandemic. While we still have much work to do, we have achieved much. I know our students will continue to flourish because you have sustained excellence. And because you have done so by example, we will have another generation who will also sustain excellence. In closing, today we are going to hear from President Robinson about a planned destination, so we all know where we are going, where we have come from and where we are going. President Robinson, thank you for your excellent leadership.
Thank you, Trustee Cavazos. And I will give a very brief introduction for the president. Those that know him and are familiar with him knows that he has a very lengthy bio filled with notable achievements. I won't, in the interest of time, go through all of them, but I do want to give you a snippet to give you a sense of who we have as our fearless leader. Dr. Larry Robinson was named the 12th president of Florida A&M on November 30th of 2017. He previously served in the role of interim president at FAMU from September of 2016 up to November of 2017, as well as from July 2012 to March of 2014. He served as director of FAMU's Environmental Sciences Institute from 1997 to 2003, served as Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs from 2003 to 2005, as well as Chief Executive Officer in 2007. He also served as Vice President for Research in 2009. And as you can see, he has filled just about every senior administrative role at the institution, and in some cases on more than one occasion. From 2001 to 2010, he served as the director of the NOAA Environmental Cooperative Science Center housed at FAMU. And since September of 2016, Dr. Robinson has also directed NOAA's Center for Coastal and Marine Ecosystems, which is also led by FAMU, it's a multi-institution consortium. Dr. Robinson attended Lemoyne-Owen College and earned a bachelor's degree in chemistry, summa cum laude, from Memphis State University, and he went on and got a doctorate in nuclear chemistry from Washington University in St. Louis, Missouri. Please join me in welcoming our president, Dr. Larry Robinson.
Well, thank you, Provost Eddington, for that introduction. And thank you, Trustee Cavazos, for your opening remarks as well. It is a pleasure for me to serve as the 12th president of Florida A&M University and to have the opportunity to work and know all of you out there in the FAM universe, as I call it. To the students, faculty, staff, alumni, friends, our Board of Trustees, our Foundation Board of Directors, Florida Board of Governors, local, state, and national elected officials, and supporters of the Orange and Green around the globe. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to share just a few remarks today about the state of Florida A&M University. This has been a very special week as we have witnessed again the peaceful transfer of power in our nation's capital, inauguration of a new president, Joe Biden, and the first ever African-American and Asian American female vice president and HBCU graduate, Kamala Harris. We're turning the page towards a new day, and we embrace it with hope and optimism as we move forward. We also celebrated this week the birthday of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who said, "We must learn to live together as brothers, or we will perish together as fools." No doubt, yesterday's swearing-in ceremony generated a massive array of emotions around our nation and the world. However, the fact that Vice President Kamala Harris is an HBCU graduate, it ignited a wave of pride that propagated throughout our community and sparked new possibilities in the minds of countless women of color around the world. Vice President Harris's ascension to her current position reveals to some what you already know. We produce great leaders and innovators at FAMU and our fellow historically Black colleges and universities throughout the nation. So many positive things have happened for FAMU during the last year, despite dealing with a global pandemic, dealing with issues of social injustice, and most recently, an insurgency at our nation's capital. But today, I am yet optimistic about the future of our nation and our university. I'm reminded of this excerpt from our alma mater, which reads, "No matter what the battle be, our sons shall ever defend." We are Rattlers, strong and resilient, and we continue to work together to get through these days as we've done throughout our history. This brings me to my purpose today, which is to share with you my thoughts about the state of the university. I think it's fair to say that with some degree of modesty and humility, that as an institution and as a family, we have achieved a measure of excellence in operation of this institution and in the delivery of services, first to our students, to our community, and to those entities and agencies who provided or invested resources in this great institution. But as you heard from President Cavazos, we cannot let our guard down. We must not assume that the battle is over. I began my end of year statement with the following passage. It reads as follows. As we prepare to celebrate the coming of a new year, let us first give thanks that we made it through 2020 and give prayer for those not so fortunate. The fact that we are privileged to witness yet another day illuminated by Florida A&M University's eternal flame is a testament to the divine grace bestowed upon us from on high. We are the keepers of the flame and guardians of our future. Together, we will continue the virtuous work of this institution, changing lives, demystifying the unknown, and healing the divisions and disparities that work contrary to the principles for which we stand. To put that in another perspective, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. perhaps sent us a warning about complacency when he stated, "Change does not roll in on the wheels of inevitability. It comes through continuous struggle." In other words, we did not arrive at where we are today by accident. It was done with a vision and a roadmap used to guide us. Both the vision and the roadmap are articulated in our strategic plan, FAMU Rising. We will not sustain our excellence without a firm commitment to doing so. All of the work that it took to arrive at this day in 2021 must be enhanced just for us to stay here. Attaining excellence is not inevitable. Sustaining excellence will only be achieved by means of a continuous commitment to the struggle. And as our alma mater said, no matter what the battle be. Moving on to the next slide, we continue to face a number of challenges brought on by a formidable and relentless menace, the COVID-19 pandemic. But we have met this challenge with resolve as evidenced by your positive actions taken during the past 10 months. I'm proud of how many of you have taken this pandemic seriously and accordingly have adhered to many of the precautions that we put in place to protect this university community. You have worn masks, washing hands and sanitizing your spaces, as well as practicing social distances. Your commitment to our operation and the success of our students as part of our institutional missions have and will, in the words of our alma mater, fend us through this skeptic night. Florida A&M University's faculty, staff, and students stepped in to serve in this battle by volunteering their time and expertise in service to others. You worked as contact tracers, established new research initiatives, and donated equipment to help confront this scourge. Our team, our internal team, developed an elaborate framework that allows the university to operate in this new normal while protecting the safety and well-being of the family. Our community-based COVID-19 test site at Bragg Memorial Stadium has administered over 200,000 tests since April the 25th of last year. The site now averages over 2,000 tests per day, which is truly remarkable considering that in its early inception, it was thought that a total of 2,500 tests would be dispensed at this site, total at the site. It's really amazing when you consider that we're exceeding that total pretty much on a day-to-day basis here in 2021. I'm happy to also announce that we will soon open another COVID-19 testing site for faculty, students, and employees with nearly 7,000 rapid antigen tests that have been supplied to the university by the White House Initiative on HBCUs. That site will be located at the FAMU Clubhouse on South Adams Street. Dr. Cynthia Harris of the School of the College of Pharmacy and the Institute of Public Health, and Ms. Tanya Tatum, the Director of Student Health Services, have provided tremendous leadership of our COVID-19 testing site in conjunction with the Bond Community Health Clinic, the Florida Department of Health, and the Florida National Guard. The Florida Department of Health Deputy Director is an alumna of this institution, our Institute of Public Health, Dr. Mario Robinson. She played an integral role in FAMU's hosting the COVID-19 testing site at Bragg Stadium. But I also must recognize the numerous numbers of faculty members who volunteered and staff members who volunteered and are volunteering at the site each and every day. And for those of you, in the range of my voice, let me just encourage you to visit the site, get tested, and as instructed, report your results to the university. It is seamless. I have been tested at the site 3 times since we returned for this year. And in each case, I got my results back in less than an hour. In fact, in 2 cases, I got my results back in the order of 15 minutes. You're in and out in a hurry. I'm also pleased to report that we have received a limited supply of vaccines to provide to our faculty, staff, and students who fall within the eligible categories specified by the state of Florida. I'm also happy to report that I was vaccinated today, this morning, by members of the FAMU health team, and that went seamlessly as well. It probably would have been a whole lot more seamless had we not had such a media presence there, but that was by design as well. We wanted to make sure that we get the message out to all of our constituents that they should get vaccinated soon as it is their turn, soon as it's available to them in the groups that they're in. So if you are already in one of those categories that have been specified by the state, please get vaccinated right here on campus. I urge you to do so in spite of any reservations you might have. It is the only way that we can beat down this virus and return to some semblance of normal operation. But not only that, too many lives have been lost to this virus, over 400,000 loved ones, millions of jobs lost, mothers, fathers, sons, and daughters. And we all know that the disparity in these impacts have occurred specifically when it comes to people of color. Please, when it's your turn to get vaccinated, please do so and encourage everyone you love to do so as well. Moving on to slide number 5. So, if I can, if y'all can keep up, my job is to confuse them. I'm doing the best that I can. I also want to point out that, like educational institutions across the nation, Florida A&M University made an amazing transformation from in-person educational delivery to 100% remote instruction in less than 2 weeks during last spring's semester. This was crucial to the success of our students, but also to a certain extent to the survival of this university. Although we have in our existing strategic plan a goal to reach 25% of student FTE delivered online, the pandemic has accelerated that achievement. In a sense, the future is now. Prior to COVID-19, however, we were seeing a significant increase in our online offerings. In fact, we saw a 40% increase between 2018 and 2019. As part of this transformation, however, we had to address significant technology needs of our students, our faculty, and our staff. We had to purchase hundreds of computers, provide cameras and hotspot devices to allow students online access and train faculty in this new modality of delivery. The upgrades made to classrooms have been just as remarkable. I had the opportunity to visit several classrooms on Tuesday of this week to witness firsthand faculty and students applying these new tools in real time. I should say these new and expensive tools in real time. So I want to thank those faculty and students who allowed me to briefly disrupt their lectures and commend you for your efforts. I must also thank Provost Eddington and his team Chief Information Officer Ron Henry and his team put in countless hours to make this ongoing transformation possible. CFO Alan Robinson and I both agreed that Mr. Henry had worked so hard that he is eligible for a half day off work on this Sunday. Next slide, please. So this pandemic has forced us to embrace a new online presence, much higher than we had planned, got there much quicker than we had planned. And I don't believe that we will be able to go back entirely to the old mode once this crisis has ended. We will likely arrive at a new plateau based upon need and demand for virtual educational delivery. However, resilience and dedication by you represents a firm commitment to our first and perhaps our most strategic priority number one, an exceptional student experience. You were able to keep our students on track to matriculate and to graduate from this institution, and I want to thank you all for doing so. However, there are other dimensions to our response to the pandemic that sometimes gets overlooked, but these other dimensions are just as important. I want to acknowledge the work of the Incident Management Response Team and our Incident Commander, Tanya Tatum, and co-chairs, Ms. Joyce Ingram and Chief Terrence Calloway. As a result of their professional assessment and recommendations, we were the first in the state university system of Florida to declare a state of emergency. Additionally, this team worked expeditiously to develop a new policy that allows staff to work remotely. Chief Ethics and Compliance Officer, Ms. Rika Calhoun, leads our Operational Continuity Task Force, and her team has done an outstanding job of developing operational plans. We've shared these plans with the FAMU community through virtual town hall meetings. We just had one last week, news releases, newspaper and television and virtual interviews. We've shared our efforts on social media. Let's also express my appreciations for the CARES Act funds that we received. These funds have helped and will continue to offset some, but not all of the financial challenges resulting from COVID-19 that we're experiencing at the university. We will need to continue being strategic in our expenditures this coming year in order to preserve our financial integrity. I want you to know that I'm thinking about and always looking for ways to minimize the impact of these unprecedented times on our people, the FAMU team. I want you to know that we will get through this together, and I must emphasize together. And to that end, let me recognize again the leadership of Faculty Senate President Anne-Marie Cavazos and UFL President Dr. Roscoe Hightower, and thank them and all of their constituents for working closely with us as we develop strategies to address our current challenges. We know that there are definitely great things happening at FAMU every day, and now the nation is again taking notice. For the second consecutive year in a row, we are the highest ranked public historically Black college and university in the nation, according to U.S. News and World Report's 2021 Best College Rankings of top public university. FAMU moved up to number 117 among top public universities from 123 just a year ago. We ranked number 20 in the nation in social mobility, a reflection of the success we have made on our 6-year graduation rate of Pell eligible students. I am most excited about this particular ranking because it is the truest indicator of our ability to alter the economic trajectory of individuals and families for generations to come. Of course, FAMU, as well as other HBCUs, have played and continue to play a key role in the establishment and growth of the Black middle class in this country. These rankings confirm FAMU's commitment to continuing this tradition while welcoming any and all to join the family. The FAMU FSU College of Engineering has earned a spot on the U.S. News and World Report's badge eligible list, ranked 69th among 206 best undergraduate engineering schools offering doctoral degrees. It is second in the state of Florida, and I firmly believe, is a new model for other institutions to follow when it comes to diversity. And most recently, Diverse Issues in Higher Education recognized FAMU again as the #1 HBCU in the awarding of degrees to African Americans at the bachelor's level. Diverse Issues also cited FAMU as a top 10 producer of degrees at the bachelor's, master's, doctoral research, and doctoral professional practice level programs across the nation. You really need to take a look at this because it gives you a really comprehensive perspective about the work that you're doing out there to maintain the excellence that we have achieved at Florida A&M University. Speaking of this, FAMU was also named one of just 12 members of the 2020 class of Excellence in Assessment designees. This national program recognizes colleges and universities conducting comprehensive assessment of student learning outcomes as a means to drive internal improvement, advance student success. And then there's this. The Southern Association of Colleges and Schools Commission on Colleges selected FAMU as an initial user of its new stamp of accreditation. We proudly display it on our website, on publications, and e-newsletters. These are all credits to your work. And for that, I want to thank you. And if those of you who are recently arriving at the university might ask, well, why would SACS pick Florida A&M University as one of the initial users of the stamp of accreditation? It might have something to do with the fact that we went through our reaffirmation process in 2018 with 0 recommendations. That's a feat we had never achieved before, and one that many institutions are looking forward to receiving one day in the future. Just a few acknowledgements of students at the university, because you have to remember that's why we are really here. And of course, I could go on and on about this, but I just picked a few just to highlight this afternoon. FAMU's College of Agriculture and Food Sciences students, DeAndre Newsom, was recently awarded the John Deere Thurgood Marshall Scholarship. The junior agribusiness major was named one of the top students in his program with a near perfect grade point average. School of Journalism and Graphic Communication student Ezekiel Hobbs has been selected as a Public Relations Scholar, Student Society of America District Ambassador. Hobbs will serve as a liaison between chapter presidents and the National Committee with responsibilities including advising chapters on improving opportunities, informing the chapters on national initiatives, and promoting the group to other students. Fourth year graphic design student in SJGC, Elijah Rutland, has been selected to participate in the inaugural Beats by Dre Black Future Creator Program. As described by the program, Rutland represents a dynamic group of creatives from historically Black colleges and universities across the nation who will create content about themselves, their communities, and the state of Black America for the Beats platforms. Kudos also to third-year FAMU Law School student Nicole Morgan Jr., who recently wrote a children's book called The Boy Who Went to Law School, encouraging others to follow in his footsteps. Special recognition must be given to this year's Presidential Leadership Award recipients. Student Government Association President and Trustee Xavier McClinton and Vice President Carrington Wiggum, FAMU football player Blake Simpson, and finally, Mr. and Miss FAMU, Kimani Jackson and Erica Johnson. They are some outstanding young people who have, throughout this pandemic, continued to serve this university well. As part of our strategic priorities 2 and 3, excellence in renowned faculty and high impact research and commercialization in public service, in 2019, 2020, FAMU received 167 research grant awards totaling $60.8 million, the largest dollar value of research awards in our history. Young Suk Yu Lee, PhD in the College of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences and Institute of Public Health, received the National Institutes of Health All-One Award for her research on mechanisms associated with the neuroprotection manganese-induced neurotoxicity. And by the way, this is the top award in terms of competitive awards given by the National Institutes of Health. It is extremely competitive. This indeed falls into the category of it doesn't get any better than this. Dr. Henry Neal Williams, a professor in Florida A&M University School of the Environment, has been elected to a 3-year term the Board of Governors of the American Academy of Microbiology. Each year, the Academy's nominating subcommittee identifies fellows who would be a valuable addition to its governing body based upon their exemplary accomplishments and service. Williams is the first person from a historically Black college or university elected to the Academy's Board of Governors. This is indeed a first ever. Yang Chen, PhD, a professor of civil and environmental engineering at the FAMU FSU College of Engineering, is leading a team of investigators to study the effects of farming and land development on the environment. Chen received a $1.2 million grant from the U.S. Department of Agriculture to study this issue. The group seeks to provide solutions to increase the resiliency of food production or reducing the negative environmental and economic and social consequences of agriculture. And then there's this. FAMU was issued 8 patents in 2019, 2020. The most that I can recall is a total of 5 in a given year. So once again, this is another best ever. FAMU brand is strong and strengthened by our alumni and our community and business relationships as part of strategic priority number 4, transformative alumni, community, and business engagement. Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms, a graduate of the School of Journalism and Graphic Communication, was most recently appointed Vice Chair of the Democratic National Convention. Vincent Evans, a graduate of political science at Florida A&M University, will serve as a Deputy Director of the Office of Public Engagement and Intergovernmental Affairs in the Office of Vice President Kamala Harris. The Florida Board of Governors approved new terms for 2 alumni members of the Florida A&M University Board of Trustees, Trustee Christian Hopper and Trustee Craig Reed, and 3 more alumni were appointed. Trustee Kenwood or Kenny Stone, Otis Clack II, and Michael DeBose. These 3 were appointed by Governor Ron DeSantis to serve on the board. This represents the most alumni ever to serve on the Florida A&M University Board of Trustees. In fact, I should mention that Trustee DeBose, president of Fisher Healthcare, a division of Thermo Fisher Scientific, actually spearheaded $1.5 million worth of COVID-19 testing equipment that we are using now on the campus to establish our own COVID-19 testing laboratory out of the Viticulture Center on US 90. Wayne, New Jersey's new business administrator, FAMU alum Talib Akil. In his new role, Akil will make sure that the township government is run effectively, efficiently, within budget and within the boundaries of the ever-changing landscape of new ordinances and new resolutions that must be adopted by that municipality. Florida State Senator Bobby Powell Jr. serves as the chair of the Florida Conference of Black State Legislators. Representative Camille Brown of Ocoee serves as Minority Pro Tem and Vice Chair of the Conference of Black State Legislators. Additionally, Representative Ramon Alexander from right here in Tallahassee, former SEA president at this institution, is the House Minority Whip. And Senator Sherwin Jones of Miami-Dade County and Representative Tavares McCurdy of Orlando are alumni as well, serving in the Florida legislature. When I think of excellence, VP Friday and her team comes to mind, along with our foundation board of directors who are providing stewardship of the money invested in the university by donors, large and small. They have been working very, very hard this year in spite of a pandemic to meet our goal of $7.7 million raised. I am happy, however, to announce that as of January the 19th, 2021, we have already raised $8.1 million, and we still have over 5 months to go. So please dig deep and make your contributions. Don't stop giving, because I believe if we continue on the pace we are on at this moment, we will experience one of our best years ever in this category as well. So as we execute our strategic priority number 4, business engagement, fundraising, as I said, is on the rise. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation provided $1.5 million for us to hire the personnel and other needs to support our COVID-19 testing laboratory. The Bank of America gave $1 million for a new job initiative in partnership with us to help students of color successfully complete the education and training necessary to enter the workforce and embark on a path to success in Tallahassee. Truist Bank, formerly SunTrust, Student Success Program provided $100,000 in scholarships to reduce student debt and industry certifications to increase students' employability skills. Southern Glazer's Wine and Spirit gave $115,000 to establish an endowed scholarship against social injustice, racial inequality, and police brutality. Most recently, Badia Spices contributed $100,000 in support of our initiatives at the university. I must give a huge thank to the Blueprint Intergovernmental Agencies, which is made of city and county governmental officials, for their approval of a $10 million investment in the renaissance of Bragg Memorial Stadium. So I really want to thank them for that, because restrictions are pretty severe on monies that we can use to support athletics and athletic facilities at this university. That's going to make for a huge difference here in the South Side, because as you know, Bragg Memorial Stadium is an economic driver here, not just in terms of football games, but is a cultural asset here on the South Side of town as well. During our virtual homecoming last November, the freshman class of 2000 raised more than $270,000 in support of their alma mater. We received $1 million from Dow Chemical as part of a $5 million pledge in the foundation and company in their contributions to historical Black colleges and universities for programming and partnership to enhance the STEM student pipeline when it comes to African American students. And then there's the massive congressional omnibus appropriations and emergency coronavirus relief act, which provided a lot of things that are going to be beneficial to students who attend this university. Increasing Pell, extending Pell, increasing eligibility for Pell, making it easier to apply, online, in terms of FAFSA and so forth. Those things are going to be significantly important. One of the more significant events for us is that it will forgive somewhere in the order of $120 million in debt that we have in our residence halls related to the new towers complex that we built, as well as some other debt we had when we refinanced to this program just a year ago. Tremendous value to this university. So once again, I want to thank all of those in our nation capital who contributed to make this possible. Going on to slide number 14. Along with our fundraising efforts, our technology team under the direction of CIO Ronald Henry has been working tirelessly to ensure that our technology infrastructure is up to date and meets our enhanced online needs. I do want to give a personal shout out to Mr. Michael Simmons. He's the one who's orchestrating this call, and he's done so many of these Zoom meetings since we started using this platform back in March. So Michael, I just want to give you a big shout out and thank you for always being there to host these things for us all times of the day and all times of the night. I also would like to thank Mr. Robert Seniors for his efforts to ensure the success of the Campus Ready module in the FAMU mobile app. One feature includes a self-screening assessment that members of the university community are expected to use each day before coming to campus or attending class. Additionally, members of the university community can upload the results of their COVID-19 test on that module as well. The module also incorporates the Protect the Family theme that the university is using to raise awareness and promote adherence to CDC prevention protocols. As part of the strategic priority number 6, outstanding customer experiences, I am pleased to announce that the Center for Access and Student Success is in full operation. Essentially, all of the offices in the Division of Student Affairs are available to students in this facility. It's really amazing to have, a one-stop shop that's permanent and is built with, a service and convenience to students and others in mind. I visited it before construction, but it didn't really give a real clue to how massive and functional this facility is. This morning, as I said earlier, I had the pleasure of going to the facility to get my COVID-19 vaccination. That was seamless as well. So to our students, the whole idea of this facility is to make it easier for you to receive the services that you need in one location. The new 700-bed Towers Residence Hall also represents a positive direction in service, in particular with regard to residential housing at the university. It's just not, it's more than just a beautiful facility. It's a highly functional facility with all of the things, all of the amenities in there that promote student success. And we're really proud of having this new facility available to our students that they moved into last fall. And coming soon, the student-funded amphitheater will be online and ready for use as an extension of the set and for other outdoor events and activities. Plus, there are 100 additional parking spaces that will be available and on hand, which I think is a major element of customer service. Finally, and before these projects were even completed, I believe Cosmopolitan magazine recognized FAMU as the 25th most beautiful college campus in the nation. This is quite an honor when you think of all of the college campuses nationwide. I just want to commend our staff for taking meticulous care of our buildings and grounds for this recognition, which I think future students as well as faculty and staff now, uh, will encourage us all to feel better about being on this campus. So all of this says, one thing to me, and that is, we have been demonstrated at Florida A&M University how excellence can be achieved. It begins with a vision and a strategy that's established and tracked, in our case, by a board of trustees. And then there is a commitment to the vision and a buy-in to the plan from all of us. We now see a new vision emerging on the horizon. We see FAMU rising into the ranks of the top 100 universities in the nation. We are at 117. I guarantee you, if we continue the successes that we've had, focusing our efforts on the things that really matter, student success outcomes, doing everything right the first time, and getting it right all of the time, we will get there. Let's embrace this vision and recognize that it is too within our collective hands. Together, we attained our highest score ever in the performance funding-based model. Together, we work to increase the graduation rates of our students to record levels. And together, we work to achieve the lowest out-of-pocket cost to our students in the state university system of Florida. All of these accomplishments were possible because of your hard work and dedication. Claim them, take pride in them all. So I just want to end by thanking all of you for your contributions to elevating Florida A&M University, especially during these challenging times, into a nationally recognized institution of higher education. Thank you for seeing and untapping the potential in every student, covering new territories in research, providing service to others, and respecting everyone you encountered on this campus just because they deserve it, just because they live and breathe. I really want to thank you for recognizing that major element of our values. Everybody on this campus has a critical role to play. Everybody on this campus is invaluable to us fulfilling our institutional mission. So we have, I believe, established a culture of excellence at Florida A&M University, and we will sustain our excellence by a continuous commitment to the struggle. Thank you, and keep striking from the top. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Dr. Robinson. And so now we have some time to address questions that you have. And again, you can put those in the Q&A box. We did have a couple of questions earlier that we answered that had to do with the vaccine. One question was which type of vaccine, the Pfizer or Moderna, but we got the answer from our health team. And they said currently it's the Moderna vaccine. Another question had to do with would spouses be eligible to get the vaccine at the university? And at this time, no, that they would not. Our supply is limited to employees of the university who meet the criteria. We also had a question about spring commencement. What format would it be? And we shared that there has not been a decision made yet. We're still monitoring circumstances, but we don't expect to make a decision before March. And so around that time, we should have an update for the community. But I believe though, or there's, oh yeah, so here comes one. Oh, okay. Well, this is a congratulations, Dr. Robinson, for joining the vaccinated pool, one of your faculty colleagues. And again, last year, if you recall, after your excellent presentation. You had 0 questions.
Yeah, there's a few more questions.
And I'll share a question. It came up. It was really expressing a concern from some parents, and it came through. And I'll share that it was around 2 areas. One had to do with some courses that may have been transferred from face-to-face to remote. And we certainly will look into that. And I'm sharing that it just came through a text from someone who's in the meeting, I believe. But I just wanted to share, there was one set of reasons for some changes that had to do with faculty who got accommodations. And that process allowed the person to be approved using our internal process for them to transfer their class. However, there may be some other instances where classes may have been changed for other reasons. And so we're going to certainly look into that. I'm actually meeting with the deans tomorrow afternoon, and that's the topic of discussion. So we're certainly looking into that. And then we will also share, apparently some of the students are experiencing some internet connectivity issues. So we will share that with our IT team and try to get a handle on that. So we appreciate you sharing any difficulties that you all may be experiencing. I think everyone understands the current semester is putting a strain on the infrastructure, right? In terms of IT bandwidth, but for the most part, I believe that the system has been functioning actually very well. I shouldn't say fairly, very well. But we do want to pinpoint those issues that we may experience around campus. So we'll certainly share that. And I'll go back and see if there are any other.
And there's one in here from Daryl Brooks about making an appointment. And I can have the team follow up with you, Professor Took, but one of the things I know that they've done, and I got an email today, is that they've already assessed, at least for those 65 and older, who are in that category, who those faculty members are. And I believe that they're sending them emails and informing them about registration and so forth. But if that hadn't happened and you're in that category, they are being arranged by the Student Health Services. And of course, they are on the first floor, the ground floor of the new CAS building. And if you enter from One East Ways, is the offices on the right-hand side of that building. Or you can email Ms. Tanya Tatum at tanyatatum@famu.edu for more detail. There's another category of people, those who have underlying health issues, and I believe, and then that are certifiable in a way. And then there are health-related workers that are eligible as well. So, but this is Student Health Services under Ms. Tanya Tatum, who will inform you of the details about when and how to get registered.
All right. And there's another health-related question in the Q&A, but what I would ask is very specific. And Dr. Robinson is a distinguished researcher and chemist, but he is not a certified healthcare professional.
No,
so
I'm not.
What I would ask is the specific health questions. This is really more suited for our healthcare professionals. So if you could contact health services it's a question about the vaccine and what type of person can receive it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll hold for just another moment to see if any additional questions come in.
I think Ms. Henry started something. Ms. Angela Henry, she didn't finish.
Yeah, she began. She typed your name.
Yeah, if you hit return, it goes into the queue. So you have to finish the statement and then hit return. Otherwise, you may have hit return after you put in Dr. Robinson. Well, and I only learned that because I've done that 1,000 times myself.
Well, hey, since we have a pattern that was established last year after your presentations, and you must have given the people what they wanted to hear. And so we don't need to belabor the time. And on behalf of the FAMU community, I want to thank you, Dr. Robinson, for always making yourself available, front and center. You don't dodge questions, you don't dodge issues, you come straight to the people, even when they don't ask you to do it. And so we appreciate that.
Thank you.
Trustee Cavazos, I also want to thank you for your time today. It's always a pleasure to have you on the agenda. And also, lastly, I do want to thank our IT team, Ron Henry, Michael Simmons, our communications team, Veronique Joyce, Brittany Smith, Keith Miles, and last but not least, the VP behind the president, Ms. Beverly Barrington, who worked to create this dynamic presentation, and behind the scenes, she's the one facilitating it today. So thank you, VP Barrington. And I'll read this last comment and then we can sign off. It says, thank you, Dr. Robinson, for your leadership and the whole leadership team for leading us during this challenging time. And happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
Okay, so we'll sign
Appreciate
off.
it.
Take care, everyone.
All right. Bye-bye, everybody.